Okay, I think it's 6:10 now, so I think, or 5:10 for you, 6:10 for us in Norway. So I think we will get started. It's a real pleasure to be here today to introduce Picterus Jaundice Pro to you. Thank you very much for using some of your time to share with us today. Before I get started then, I would just like to introduce a couple of people. So we've got with us today Katarina, who I think quite a few of you know already. Katarina, please feel free to say hi and introduce yourself as well. I can also, oh, I can't unmute you. There you go.
Yeah. Olá a todos. Enviamos-vos este convite para participar neste webinar através das jornadas da obstetrícia e pronto, e é isso. Eu penso que me conhecem das jornadas. Sou a enfermeira Catarina Cordeiro e estamos a colaborar com a Picterus no sentido de facto, ajudar a dar conhecimento aos enfermeiros que trabalham na área do parto e do puerpério, de facto, para conhecerem esta ferramenta útil para poderem usar na sua prática clínica.
And I would say I'm very sorry I'm not able to speak Portuguese to you today, but I'm really pleased that we have Katarina who will be able to translate some of the questions later on as well. If you have any, you can either write questions in the Q&A. You can see the little question and answer button on the top of the screen. So you can write those whenever you like during the webinar. And then at the end of the webinar, we will also be opening up the floor. So if you want to ask questions, please go ahead. And we have with us today Gabriella, who is also a medical advisor at Picterus, and she will be keeping an eye on the questions and answers during the session, as well as hosting then the question and answers at the end. Hopefully you received some instructions earlier on how to set up the translations, the live translations of the webinar. We've also written those instructions in the chat. So if you scroll up to the top of the chat, or anytime you can just say help. And if you see someone who isn't, who's struggling, then please feel free to, yeah, Katarina will be keeping an eye, I think, and helping people to set that up underway as well. I didn't actually introduce myself. I'm Deborah Hill. I'm also a medical advisor working for Picterus and also doing a lot of the online trainings. So okay, let's get started then. So the product presentation will last for about 20 minutes, and then we'll have hopefully around 10 minutes for questions and answers at the end. If you see, so if you want to write a question anytime, please feel free. There's also a voting option there on the questions. So if you see something particularly interesting, you can also vote so that we can streamline the responses and answer the most interesting questions first. You can also ask questions in Portuguese and we will translate them. So yeah, please do what's most comfortable for you. We will be recording the session too, so we will share the recording with you at the end. Okay, so let's get started then. So the purpose of the webinar here is to give you an introduction to what Picterus Jaundice Pro is, who it's for, why it's important, and how it's used. So first off, let's take a look at what Picterus is. So Picterus Jaundice Pro is a CE marked medical device for jaundice screening. It's a screening tool, which means that it's intended to assist with determining whether a newborn needs further follow-up for suspected neonatal jaundice. Like a TCB, Picterus is used to estimate the blood bilirubin values, and we do that by assessing pictures of the skin from the newborn's chest. Picterus is more accurate than visual assessment, and it is certified for use by both parents and healthcare professionals in clinical and home settings. So this means it allows for more remote monitoring, and you can do that also by using the Jaundice at Home platform. So I'll show you a little bit about the platform as well during this tutorial. Okay, so we've seen what Picterus is. So let's see who it's for. Picterus is suitable for screening newborns that are at least 24 hours old and up to 14 days old. The newborns should be born with at least 35 weeks gestational age for non-EU countries. And at the moment, we are approved for use over 37 weeks for EU countries, but we're hoping for this to be 35 weeks everywhere relatively soon. And the birth weight is for newborns with at least 2,000 grams. So how can Picterus help improve jaundice screening? So to answer that, let's have a look first at how neonatal jaundice typically presents. So jaundice is characterized by a yellowing of the skin and eyes, as we know, and this is caused through increased levels of bilirubin in the blood as a result of the red blood cell breakdown. So it affects the majority of newborns, so around 60% of term babies and 80% of preterms. And most babies recover on their own without the need for treatment. But about 10% of cases, the bilirubin levels get dangerously high, and then you need to treat. If you can catch those newborns early enough, then phototherapy treatment is usually sufficient. But without treatment, neurotoxicity can lead to deafness, cerebral palsy, or even death. So as we know, it's critical that the newborns that need the treatment are identified. But the challenge is that a lot of the time, the newborns that show signs of jaundice onset, they're already back home, so they've been discharged from hospital, and there we have limited access to jaundice screening tools. So because of this, jaundice is the top cause for hospital readmissions of newborns, and that costs time and stress for healthcare professionals and new parents. So that's where Picterus comes in. So we can offer quantitative jaundice screening anywhere. So let's have a look at how Picterus fits into the newborn care workflow. So there are three main points where Picterus can be integrated. So first we have before hospital discharge. So here a healthcare professional could screen the newborn at the hospital using Picterus Jaundice Pro. Secondly, we have at home, so midwives or other healthcare professionals can perform follow-up screenings during home visits. So this ensures ongoing monitoring after discharge. And then the third case is the option to have parents screen the newborns themselves. And then they can do that after instruction from the healthcare provider. And then these results are securely shared for remote monitoring, enabling continuous care and communication between families and healthcare professionals. So this kind of flexibility allows for early detection and intervention, reducing the risk of complications and unnecessary hospital readmissions. So there's a bit of the background. So let's actually see how Picterus works. So to use Picterus Jaundice Pro, you need a calibration card, and the card is placed directly on the skin of the newborn's chest. And the purpose of the calibration card is to act as a reference for the app so that we can get an accurate color value of the newborn's skin. And this is seen through the hole in the middle of the card. So this is really easy to do in practice. All you need to do is align the green box on the app with the outside edge of the calibration card, and then the app takes pictures automatically. A quality check is performed, and then the bilirubin value is calculated and displayed within seconds. So in addition to the results being displayed on the app, our Jaundice at Home platform allows for remote monitoring of results from a secure dashboard. This way, the healthcare providers have a complete overview of the newborn's results, regardless of whether a healthcare professional or parents have performed the scan. So it's easy to install the app. So if you haven't done so already, you can find it by either scanning this QR code, or you can search for Picterus Jaundice Pro on App Store or Google Play. So once you've downloaded the app, the first time you use it, you will need to register a new account, So you can click on register, and then you can fill in your email address, or you can use your existing Google or Apple account. So then once you log in, you'll be guided through the setup for the app. You can select your country, and it's important to select the correct country since that will affect some of the settings in the app. You can also choose the language that you want. And then if you've selected that you are a healthcare professional, you can choose which bilirubin unit you want the app to display results in. Next up, you're asked if you have a calibration card. So if I click yes, then you proceed. And if you click no, you'll be redirected to the Picterus shop where you can find information of your local distributors, or you can buy cards directly. The next thing we have here is Picterus scans. So this tells you how many scans you have remaining. And you can see here in this example, I have 0. So I need to add scans to my account. And I have 2 options how to add scans. So the first is to add scans manually from the Picterus shop. So you can click on the Add Scans button, and then once you've purchased scans, you get emailed a code, and then you can click on the button and add the code here to top up your account. So you can see here I've gone up to 10 scans. The second option is to link your account to an organization, which might be, for example, a hospital or a healthcare service that has purchased a license agreement with us. So organizations can offer scans to their registered users, and then you will see that you'll see that displayed on the app screen if you're registered to an account. So you can see here, the app just says scans available through the organization. So now I'll give you a few details about the calibration card. So the cards can be used multiple times on a single newborn, and they have a shelf life of 5 years after production. Cards cannot be used on multiple patients as they don't tolerate cleaning. So please don't attempt to clean the cards, as this can affect the color of on the patches. But if you want to use a single card on multiple patients, you can do this, but you need to reprocess the card. And in order to do that, we have developed this card holder. So it's a little black plastic holder that the card slots into. So in between patients, you can clean the card holder, and that allows you then to use the card multiple times on different babies, but without risking having contamination through skin-to-skin contact. And we have a YouTube video to show in more detail how to use the card holder. And if you're interested in that, I can send a link to that afterwards. Okie doke. So let's have a look at how to handle the calibration card. So first up, make sure that you have clean hands, and then you pull open the packaging. So this is how the card looks when you get it. It's inside its packaging here. So you pull open the packaging like this using the notch on the side, and then hold the card at the bottom there, and then just pull it out. And then you can see inside the packaging there, you have some cartoons to help you remember how to use Picterus. Some key points here is not to touch the color patches on the card. If you make those, if they get dirty, then it can affect how the app works. So if you want to use the card multiple times, it's important to protect the card in between uses. So the packaging also acts as protection for the card. So after use, you can return the card back into the packaging here using the little slot inside the packaging, and then keep it safe and sound. Avoid exposure to sunlight or fluids and other substances until you're ready to do the next scan. So it's also a good protection to prevent the card from getting bent or scratched. Okay, so we're nearly ready to show a practical demo of the app, but before we do that, I just want to run through a little checklist with you, things to think about before getting started with a scan. So what do we need? We need a compatible smartphone, and Picterus runs on most smartphones, providing you have a camera with a flash. Most of the modern smartphones are more than good enough to take images of good enough quality. You need calibration card and Picterus scans, and you need an internet connection. So while Picterus is very easy to use, there are some tips and tricks I want to share with you to get the most out of it. So 3 important points here. Make sure that you have good lighting conditions. A combination of natural light and lamp light is best, but don't try and do a scan in strong direct sunlight. That's a bit too bright. Make sure you have a clean camera. So just clean the camera lens with a soft cloth. And then finally, this one's the most tricky one, is make sure that you don't have any shadows across the calibration card or the newborn when you do the scan. And so remember that the angle that you're standing and where you hold the phone may start causing a shadow when you're about to do that. So the best thing to do is to just lean over the baby and check if you are going to cast a shadow. Maybe change the angle that you're standing at before you try to do the scan. Okay, so we've gone through the tips and tricks. So let's see this in action. So here is the home screen of the app. You can see that I have scans remaining, but I currently don't have any newborn profile made. So let's see how to add a newborn. So we can click on the button here to add a newborn, and then we add the information here. Nickname, birth weight, the gestational age, and then we select the birth date and time. And then when you're ready, everything looks good, you can click register, and now you can see that that's the active newborn profile. So we then place the card on the chest of the newborn, and then we get the green box there lined up with the outside edge of the card. And then the app automatically takes pictures. So it takes 6 pictures, 3 with the flash and 3 without the flash. Then the data is processed, and then we get the results here. And so you can see here that depending on whether you've set micromoles per liter or milligrams per deciliter, you get the result then shown. They're not identical screens, but they're just 2 examples of how it looks, either if you have micromole per liter or milligrams per deciliter. So on the results screen here, you can see at the top you have the profile name, date of birth and time of birth, birth weight and gestational age. Then you have the result. And then the age of the newborn at the time of scan is also automatically calculated. And then we also have here the accuracy group. So this is shown as either group A or group B. And I will explain a little bit more about what the accuracy group means in a couple of slides' time. So if you want to share this result, you can share that manually by clicking the little share icon that's at the top right-hand side there of the result box. And if you are registered with an organization that uses Jaundice at home, then this result is automatically updated on the newborn profile and is visible on the healthcare professional's dashboard immediately. So then we have the result history. And this is the history for all of the newborns on your account. And you can access this through the app menu. And so from here, you can also export results to PDF and share them. So in here, you will get a separate PDF for each of the scans that has been performed on each newborn. The data is automatically deleted from the app after 3 months. So if you want to have a record of these results, then remember to share them and save them somewhere else before 3 months' time. So here is an example of the Jaundice at Home platform. So not only do you have access to the results on the app, but you can also remotely access them using the platform. So each newborn has their own profile page that looks something like this, and the results are displayed on the nomogram to allow easier visualization of the trend in bilirubin results. So here you can see Picterus results are shown as blue circles, and you can also choose from a selection of nomograms such as the AAP guidelines or NICE guidelines. Also on here, you can see there is a button on the left that says add TSB, TCB. And so you can add those results manually. And on this example here, TCB is the red square and TSB is the purple diamonds. So this allows you to get then a complete overview of the status of the newborn. So a real advantage here is also that Jaundice at Home removes the risk of plotting the graphs on the plotting results on the wrong graphs, because the gestational age is automatically corrected for based on the information provided in the newborn profile. Just a few tips then how to get feedback from the app, how the app helps you to perform scans. So it will give you feedback to get the right position. So you can pay attention here to the target bubble that is shown at the top. So starting from the left here, you can see that this is an example of when you're too close. Then the next is if the camera is too far away from the newborn. But then the bubble turns green when you're in the right spot, and then you will see the progression of the images automatically when you're in the right place. And then on the right-hand side there's an example of a good image that was captured. There's no shadows, there's good enough lighting. Couple of things to avoid. So here, starting from the left, then we have an example of just poor lighting. It's not even illumination across the card. Another thing to avoid then is the second example here. Do not try and do scans on rashes or uneven skin patches. Make sure there's nothing else in the imaging window, so electrodes and tape and so on. Also on this example, there's some clothing here at the top. And then also make sure that you don't have your finger in the way. So you should just hold the card at the bottom, away from the color patches. So we're getting close to the end of the presentation, but in the last few minutes, I wanted to just show you a little bit about the Picterus performance. So the performance of Picterus can be described in different ways. And the first thing I want to do is talk about how it compares with TSB, so the blood serum. And I also want to explain about the concept of group A and B. So on the graph here on the left, you can see the correlation between Picterus results and total serum bilirubin results from several different clinical trials. So Picterus is on the y-axis and the TSB is on the x-axis. And in the clinical trials, Picterus scans and blood draws were collected within 60 minutes of each other to allow comparison. So you can see here group A data is shown with the dark green triangles, and group B is shown with the light green triangles. We can see there is a good correlation between all Picterus results and TSB, and that the data points from group A and B are fairly evenly distributed. So the app will automatically assign results to group A and B. And the reason, so it's kind of a historical reason that we have group A and B. And it exists because in the past, we saw that the app performance was worse in some newborns. And so when we looked into why this was happening, we saw that a common feature was that the newborns that had larger variation in results tended to be newborns that had darker skin tones. And so this is a known issue with transcutaneous bilirubin screening, is that higher levels of melanin in the skin can make that transcutaneous assessment more difficult. So that's why we decided to introduce two different performance groups to make sure that users were aware of potentially larger variations in the group A newborns. But now when you look at the results here, you can see actually that group A and group B are performing fairly similarly. And that's because we've been focusing on collecting more and more dark skin data from clinical trials. And we've been training the analysis model on improving analyzing those data. And that means that now we're at a point where actually group A and B are difficult to distinguish. And one thing we're hoping for is in the near future to have to get rid of group A and B and just have all results presented as one in the same way. So that's something I'm hoping in a couple of webinars time, maybe I don't have Group A and Group B at all. So we're always working to try and improve the app based on the new clinical trial data we get in, and you will always receive the updated versions as and when they are approved. So yeah, you will always get the newest version of the app then automatically, just updating the app. Yes, that's what I wanted to say there. So another question that comes up is, how does Picterus compare with other transcutaneous devices? So you might be familiar with using TCB devices. The one that we use most in clinical trials is the Draeger JM105. So here I wanted to show you the same results that I just showed you previously. But now all the Picterus results are orange, so Group A and Group B are combined here, and all of those are the orange dots. And in these clinical trials, we also collected TCB, and those are plotted as blue dots. All of the results, TCB, Picterus, blood draw collection, all done within 1 hour. And you can see here that it's hard to distinguish between the orange and the blue. They look pretty similar. So it's a similar spread in the data, and the accuracy of the two measurements are also very similar as well. Finally, I just want to finish up by sharing with you the results from another 3 clinical trials. And here we have 475 newborns combined with a whole range of skin tones. So we have results here from Utah, in the US, Chicago, and Mexico. And newborns were recruited into these studies if they were referred for a serum bilirubin as a result of suspected jaundice. Again, Picterus scans were taken within 60 minutes of the heel prick, like in the previous studies. And what we found was that out of the 475 newborns, Picterus did not miss a single newborn that needed phototherapy treatment. So in addition to that, Picterus demonstrated great potential to avoid unnecessary heel pricks. So 73% of the heel pricks of the blood draws could have been avoided if Picterus recommendations were followed. And so this really shows that Picterus is a safe, effective, and accessible tool for jaundice screening. So just to round up now, Picterus offers a digital screening platform for neonatal jaundice. It's fully accessible 24 hours a day with a seamless transition from hospital to community environments. It enhances parental participation in the care of their newborn, and it's validated in all skin tones. It's also cost-effective and data compliant, it's equitable, and it fits in with the national governance and strategic plans. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to Picterus. We have a bunch of YouTube tutorial videos. If you would like to see any more details, please go along and check those ones, and also follow us on Instagram if you want to see any updates of what we're up to. But for now then, I would just like to finish up by saying thank you so much for joining, for your attention. And then we can open up the question and answers now. If there have been any questions during the webinar, or if you would like to ask any questions, please feel free.
Yes, thanks, Debbie. Yes, and we don't have any questions in the chat or in the question and answer, but of course, feel free to open your microphone and ask any question that you have.
Also, for the people that came after, we will send everyone a link to the recording. So, para toda a gente que veio um pouco depois, não se preocupem, porque efetivamente iremos enviar um e-mail para toda a gente com o link da gravação do webinar completo. Está bem?
So, any questions?
Hi, my name is Inês. I'm a midwife from Porto. it's not actually a question, but I'm doing a master in health informatics, and I was wondering if you could provide your contact. So if I have any more technical questions, do you mind if I can contact you further?
Absolutely fine. You can see here on this slide you have the email addresses both for myself and for Gabriella. So please feel free to reach out. It's great to hear that you're working in the field, and we would love to support you if we can.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thank you.
Sim, Inês, qualquer questão que precise, se precisar de alguma ligação, obviamente fala bem inglês, mas alguma questão que seja necessária também pode pedir-me a mim, pode pedir-nos a nós, jornadas, no sentido de fazermos aí a ponte, se houver aqui alguma dificuldade, está bem? Estamos disponíveis para ajudar.
Obrigadíssima.
Anyone else?
Eu acho que uma das questões que surge prende-se também com a utilização por parte dos pais, portanto, com a facilidade que os pais têm ou não e como é que funciona isso. Se calhar vou pedir para explicarem um pouquinho melhor essa questão de como é que funciona, como é que os pais utilizam em casa e de que forma é que se faz essa conexão e essa ligação, no fundo, sem eles precisarem de sair de casa, sem precisarem de sair do conforto do seu lar e sem precisarem de ir para um hospital, para todo o stress e todo o contacto que aquela criança irá ter com uma série de outros adultos e com micro-organismos desnecessários. So I was wondering, Deborah, if you could explain a little bit more about the way that parents can use it at home. And I think it's for me, it was one of the main doubts. Like, how can they use it? Is it the license of the midwife or whatever? How does it work? How can they use it? Mm-hmm. How can they know how it is? Do you know? Do you the health professional? Do you know at the same time? Can we have access to the same account? So if you can explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. So the easiest way to monitor newborns, if you have parents screening at home, then you can set up an organization in lots of different ways. So when I talk about organizations in terms of the Picterus Jaundice Pro and the Jaundice at Home platform, it means that let me maybe bring up the Jaundice at Home screen here. So this is an example of a newborn profile screen from the Jaundice at Home. There is another screen that comes before this one that gives you an overview of all of the newborns that are registered on your account. And when we talk about accounts, that could be a hospital. So then in that case, you would have quite a few different doctors probably registered on that account. It could be one independent midwife. It could be a group of midwives, for example, and you can choose how you want your administrators of the account organized, and then you can invite, first of all, healthcare professionals in. Healthcare professionals will be able to see all of the newborns that are associated with the organization. So that means that you can, even if it's my baby or Gabby's baby, for example, I would be able to see all of those newborns and be able to follow what's going on with them. If you then click on an individual newborn, you can then see a page like the one I have displayed here. And you can see there are several buttons here that you can have this one that says request measurement. So if I click this button, then an email will come to the parent who is who has the Picterus account registered on their email account, and they will get an email saying, oh, please do a Picterus scan. Then they can open up the app and then they do the scan, and that result immediately then comes through as soon as they've done the scan, it will pop up on their profile. The way that it works in terms of how many scans you have, if you have got this subscription package with Picterus, then depending on the number of newborns, you will pay a certain amount per month, and that gives you plenty of scans that can then be distributed to parents, or you can choose, if you say want to give parents 3 scans each, we can arrange for that to be the case, or you can just allow them to do as many scans as they want. It's up to you what you prefer. But yeah, so that's that. In our mind, we want to make it as easy as possible for people to do as many scans as they need to, because I think a strength of Picterus is you can get this pattern of how jaundice is progressing. So we don't want to limit the use of the app, but it's also up to healthcare professionals to decide how they want to do that, because maybe some parents might go crazy and do 20 scans in 1 hour, and we don't think that's necessarily the best use of the app. So yeah, it's up to you how you structure it, but I hope that gives a little bit more information about how it works. And also I'm nearly finished making some tutorial videos that really go into all the different pages of Jaundice at Home. So when those are ready, it should be within the next week or so. I can also send a link to those, so you can really see on YouTube. Then you can come in and you can see how the platform works from both the perspective of an administrator and also from the perspective of the healthcare professional.
Yep, Deborah, because actually there are some points, some services in Portugal that are starting to try to have an early discharge, so that parents go home earlier, and obviously it's most of the cases it's in a barrier situation. It's not working yet, but then there's the whole process to help those parents and to help the midwives and the people that go to home and that connect through the phone, so that they can help the parents as much as they can, because it will be a transition process. Like, for now, nobody believes that's okay. Everyone will be kind of worried, so it will be a process, and I think this would actually help a lot.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to say actually was when you, so in this situation, say you have a baby that's getting discharged very early, and you know that jaundice it won't likely start showing until the parents are already at home. You can, as a healthcare professional, if you have the Jaundice at Home platform, you can also set up the newborn profile yourself for the parents, and you can invite the parents via the app, via the platform, already with this newborn profile made for the parents. So when the parents then follow the instructions to install the app from that email address, they will automatically have the app set up exactly as it should be for their baby. So it makes it easier for them, the parents. It's literally just press start scan, because you've already set up the profile for the parent. So you have the control to check that all the details of that baby are correct in the profile. You can go through a scan together with the parents, like a test scan before discharge, so you're happy they know how to do the scan. And then once the parents are at home, that kind of remote follow-up is a lot less stressful, since they've gone through that once before. So I think that's hopefully a way to ease this process of parents being at home, especially if first-time parents have enough to worry about, other things to worry about as well. So if they've gone through this once before, it's hopefully reducing anxiety for them.
Yeah. Inês was asking on the chat, Gabby already answered her, but I wanted to ask you again, Deborah, so that you could talk a little bit more about it. She was asking if there's some hospital or some health center or something in Portugal that already is applying it, and also if our main council for health, our government council for health, would did they say anything about it? And she's actually saying that we have a few transcutaneous devices, so this would be actually really helpful.
Yeah, I think so. The first point there about if we don't have currently any hospitals in Portugal that are that we could give as, say, reference sites that are using. But if there's someone here that is interested in being the first, please, we really need we need someone to lead the way. I think it is a new technology, and quite often the reaction is kind of, oh, how is it working somewhere else? And so we need someone to be the first. We do have quite a few in Germany. We have quite a few independent midwives who are using Picterus as part of their day-to-day practice. And we have hospitals in the UK and also in Spain who are setting up now as like sites that will take Picterus in use. So we're hoping that will be up and running pretty quickly. We do really see that the benefit here is that you're essentially having a quantitative transcutaneous device in your pocket wherever you go, because everyone has their phone with them, and having a card with them is doesn't take any extra space. So really that's how we see as the benefit is you can do quantitative screening anywhere.
Inês, será que preferes falar e perguntar? Ou...
Desculpem.
Não,
eu
tranquilo.
estava aqui a pensar, é assim, eu trabalho num hospital privado, é relativamente difícil para fazer o que quer que seja de propostas novas, mas acho que tem imensos benefícios, até porque nós temos mesmo dificuldades aqui com o transcutâneo, temos a neonatologia, a consulta, o transcutâneo é o mesmo para todos. Pronto, vou tentar apresentar, elas ficaram curiosas quando eu disse que ia assistir ao webinar e por isso se calhar vou tentar pronto, lançar assim a ideia.
A ideia é mesmo essa, fazemos aqui um bocadinho a ponte no sentido, até depois tentar, através de algumas USFs, portanto, tentar de facto fazer chegar a informação, porque efetivamente a maioria dos profissionais de saúde não faz a mínima ideia e os administradores não fazem a mínima ideia que esta aplicação existe, e portanto é um bocadinho tentarmos aqui fazer a ponte e fazer esta ligação entre esta informação e as pessoas que precisam dela. Como disse, portanto, nós vamos disponibilizar a gravação, por isso será facilmente será simples para mostrar a quem quer que seja, no sentido, pronto, e depois todos os contactos que estão aqui. So Inês was saying that she works in the private hospital, and she's saying obviously it's difficult to propose anything because it's more restricted, but she was saying that she talked to some of the administration of the people in charge, and they were kind of curious, and she said, I'm going to attend the webinar, and then I will get back to you. So, and I was saying, actually, that's the main reason we're here, like try to make a bridge between Picterus and the many places, health centers and hospitals, and try to get this information to as many health professionals as we can,
yeah,
so that this can be useful to
And
everyone.
I think, Ines, that's great. And I think if you have, if there's someone, it would be the administration, and also there will definitely be the IT, like the computer data protection, data security teams as well. So we would be very happy to have a meeting with them to discuss all of that, all of the details there in terms of how the data is handled and so on. So if you have any contact people you would like us to follow up with, please just send us information and we can reach out to them as well.
Okay, thank you so much. I will try.
Great,
I will
thank
talk
you.
to my chief tomorrow, and we'll see what happens.
Fantastic.
Maybe we're
Thank
lucky.
you. Thank you. Yeah, I keep my fingers crossed.
Thank you so much. It was very good, this webinar. It was
Thank you.
very nice to know about this, and if it's implemented here, it would be great.
Yeah, we would love to see it getting implemented. So let's do our best and see if we can push for that.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Just want to add that next year you have the international conference or Congress of Midwives in Lisbon, in Portugal. So we will be present there. I mean, it's in June.
Oh,
but,
great.
Yeah, so
we'll meet you.
We hope to see you there.
That would be wonderful. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. So
Fantastic.
I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, I think then if we are no further questions, then I think we can call it a day now. And I say again, thank you so much for spending your time with us. And we will send the recording out to you as soon as we have that one. And also, yeah, please don't hesitate. If you think of anything else you're worried or you're wondering about, please just send us an email. And wish you all a very happy rest of the day as well.